What's up, geeks and geekettes? It's Ted, aka Steady, here with the Countdown City Geeks,
How evil can one cat be?
Pretty evil!
and this is going to be our
Dogman!
spoiler review.
This is gas, dude. This is like the best movie ever.
Joining me is the one and only JC,
Hey, everybody.
and from General Kenobi's bunker, it's Jose.
Hello there.
It's been so long that JC's been on this show or
I
channel
know.
that I forgot his actual introduction is the man, the myth, the legend, JC.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, I know. Exactly, right? So I can't believe I was so busy I couldn't even, when we talked trailer reactions to the Superman movie coming out, I would get to that. But yeah, that's my life right now.
My God.
Yeah. So we'll talk later.
Well, when the Super Bowl one comes out, we'll have to do something for sure,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
As I've already mentioned, this is going to be our Dogman spoiler review. It's just a kids' movie. There's not too many stakes, so I think getting into some spoilerish details will be completely okay. We're also going to give our Geekcast review. If you've seen it as well, we want to hear from you. Let us know what you guys thought by throwing your comments in the chat below. But first off, let's go ahead and get into sort of the general overview of the movie. No details quite yet, just general feelings walking out. And I think we're all going to be pretty much the same. But JC, I know your kids are pretty big on Dogman because Jay, your son, was decked out head to toe in Dogman gear. So your general overview of the Dogman movie.
Yeah. For those wondering, that was a homemade Dogman cap and shirt that he wore for school. I think it was
Nice.
a
Even
character
better.
day or something last year at school. And we busted out the crack cut. I just made it real quick on Photoshop, and yeah, then just off we went. It still fit him. So he's been so excited. I think he's read every single one of the books. And if there's one missing, he'll know about it. He'll find out about it. And when it shows up at half price books, we'll get it for him. And yeah. So he was very excited when I showed him the trailer. He's been looking forward to this. And honestly, I'm glad the screening came about because it saved me some money from having to buy tickets for this Friday. So, but yeah, he loved the movie. He's so excited, and yeah, definitely just a fun movie, especially if you're a fan of the books or your kids are fans of the books. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and going back to that, it was a screening that we were all a part of,
Yeah.
and a lot of you folks at home as well joined us for another advanced screening. This time of Dogman. If you are interested in joining us for a future advanced screening, we have some big ones on the way. And as soon as like that March, April time frame starts to roll around, early May, it really starts to pick up. So you're gonna
Yes.
want to be sure and follow us on social media. You can also join our official Facebook page channel. I don't know if they officially call it these days, but it's our Facebook Messenger channel where we send all our updates and new contests. So you want to be a part of that to make sure you get notified anytime a new movie comes up. Jose, your turn, sir. General overview of Dogman.
Yeah, very much so. So, also my 8-year-old went with us, to the screening, and kind of the same thing. So he is not necessarily a big fan, but he knew the character because in his class there's a kid that's actually a pretty big fan of the movie. Just backstage before we started, I was telling JC that he's being flexing on this poor kid that he already saw the movie before it came out.
Oh man.
So I'm like, dude, chill. That's like that's like the bare minimum amount of power you can get drunk off. Like let's tone it down. All right. uh, so he knew the characters. He knew some of the story actually. And I was telling Ted, as we were walking into the theater, right? And I'm like, you know what, man? I don't really know Dogman. Like that's after my time. Like I didn't read the comic books. Like I've seen the character, I've seen the books, I've seen the comic books. Um,
Excuse me.
do you know what the movie's about? And my son, without skipping a beat, was like, I kind of do, but it would be spoilers. So,
Yep.
and I was like, you kid are being raised right. So yes, I was like, all right. My wife just like turned around and looked at me and was like, see what you do? Like that was the look she gave me. She's like, this is all your fault. But no, we walked out of there pleasantly surprised, to be honest with you. Again, we didn't really know much of what to expect, but the kid loved it. We were talking about it for like 2 hours after, like straight. He helped me type up, our written review of it, And yeah, I think overall he had a pretty good fun, at the theater.
And I'm going to reciprocate all of these things you guys already mentioned. Had a great time as well. My daughter is only 5. She doesn't know Dogman as much. There's a few books she's probably read before that my wife has gotten, but we're not, big on it. But as soon as the trailer came out, I don't remember the first time we saw the trailer, but she was like, "We're going, right, Dad?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess we are now." Yeah, I'll just say walking out of the theater, I had a great time. I was
Mhm.
thoroughly entertained. It really was like humor wise relentless. I do not remember going a minute without some sort of a joke or a gag happening. And there's even some, sprinkled in humor for adults, or the content that adults would only understand. So that kind of was thrown in there a few times. So that's never a bad thing. Love the animation style. I was surprised to find out Pete Davidson was voicing Petey the cat.
I'm the greatest villain of all time!
Wow. All
Yeah.
right. Pete Davidson's not. You don't really connect him with a kids or project or children's animated project, but I thought he did a crazy good job. I didn't know it was him until after I'd watched the movie. I was like, oh, Pete Davidson was voicing him. Okay,
Mhm.
that's really awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, had a great time. It even tried and took some risks, tried to tug on the
Yeah.
heartstrings a
Mhm.
couple of times and succeeded. And I'm like, okay, this movie's really going for some things here. It's not just kind of a make it because we have to type situation here. They're actually trying to put in some layers in the script, and I really appreciated that. So, all in all, highly entertaining. Definitely a family movie aimed towards the children and kids and all that stuff, but just relentlessly funny was the first thing I thought. I was like, wow, this would not let you breathe before it started trying to make you laugh again, and I thought that was great. Probably the reason for that is because this movie was, I believe, written and directed by Peter Hastings. If
Hastings.
you don't know who that is, JC should, because this guy wrote 77 episodes of Animaniacs and even wrote some episodes of Pinky and the Brain. So this is like right there at JC's type of animated humor.
Has that fast paced, quick witted humor. So good. It had that feel to it, definitely. And he also voiced Dogman himself too.
So when he comes in and he jumps and he gets on the chief.
He wrote, directed, and also provided the voice of Dogman, all the vocal effects and everything, including Officer Knight before the you know merging of the characters as well. So yeah, it was it had that feel to it. I think that's why I had a lot of fun with it as well. So
Yeah, as soon as I saw his credits, I was like, "Oh, Pinky and the Brain, Animaniacs. Yeah, this is that type of movie." It's more than surface level type humor type stuff. It's not just physical comedy. There's a lot of effort and time that went into the script and the dialogue. And then he's also done stuff like Tiny Toons, Ninja Turtles, Kung Fu Panda. Like this guy has written a ton of stuff that my kids have watched growing up. Hell, stuff that I watched growing up. So this is a vet in the sort of animated universe over here. So yeah, big props to Peter for putting out a solid project. Anything that really stuck out? I know that we were all joking because on the paper, it's a pretty dark concept. This cop and his canine get into an accident, and somehow the only logical decision to make is to rip the dog's head off and put it on the guy's body because that'll solve some sort of problem. I don't even
yeah,
remember what problem they're trying to solve. I guess they wouldn't survive either way. This was like the only option to make them survive
Yeah.
yeah.
was to switch the head with.
And
It's just
this
a weird
it's
concept.
straight out of the source material and everything. Dogman doesn't say a word. He just barks the whole time. I mean, you mentioned how your son's getting better at spoilers. My son's getting a little better about spoilers too. Like he saw his best friend the next day. Says, I'm not gonna tell you, but it's like it's this book, it's this like Tale of Two Kitties, like it's these three books together. Like
Oh,
he knew
nice.
what books they were coming from. So
Very cool.
and if you're out there not sure if your kids should read this, there's like a new trend among books now where these like comic chapter books are so popular and so good, it gets your kids to read. Um, a lot of the books we read growing up have been made into this. Percy Jackson, for example, the whole series is being made into this comic chapter style book. My son's been able to read the entire series. Now he's excited to see season 2 when it comes out on Disney Plus, right? So,
Nice.
but it's kind of that concept. So it is true to the source material, the Dogman piece of it. Like my son knows what books are what, and they were just like, we were asking him all the way in the movie, okay, what do we need to know about Dogman? Well, it's this cop, it's this dog. There's an accident with a bomb, and the dog's body's messed up. The cop's head is all messed up, but he wasn't that smart anyway, so they just kind of like put it together. That's just the idea. That's the silliness of it. So it sounds dark, but it fits when you think about it. So
Yeah.
and it just goes so
Yeah, actually, my kid wasn't surprised about that. He knew that was kind of the origin
yeah.
story. So when it happened, he's like, "There, that's what happens." He's like, "That's why he's a dogman." I'm like, "Oh, well, yeah, now I know." Um, but I also thought how it was funny that in the movie, right, they very much spell it out what's gonna
Yeah.
happen, right? When Pete the cat is going like, "Yeah, we got I forget the officer's name, and and Greg, like the dog, he's super smart, and the officer has like kung fu skill stuff. Is not that smart." And the assistant's like, "Oh wow, imagine if they would combine
Yeah.
them." Like, I was like, "Really?"
Quick
Like,
foreshadowing.
it's right there.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love the animation style. I thought it was like really eye
Yeah.
catching and stuff, and it was I don't know, it's just bonkers, off the wall. It's really cool. And then they kept on talking about this dead fish, and I'm just like, enough with the dead fish. I had no idea. It seemed like a very run of the mill type movie. I thought in my
Yeah.
head, just Incredibles. It was just good guys, bad guy. We're gonna do this throughout the whole movie, and no, they surprised me. This dead fish actually comes to life, like the last act of the movie, finally, and then these two foes who've been foes forever have to come together to take him down. Like, oh, okay, well this movie's actually surprising me a little bit. I just thought another run of the mill good versus evil type movie, but no, they actually tried some stuff. And also, I was really happy with Chief in this movie,
Yeah.
voiced by Lil Rel,
Millie, have you found Dogman? Get him in here now! We still gotta find Petey!
who was just hilarious. And the one thing that kept
Yeah.
getting me every single time, not in the mouth. Every time
Dogman
Dogman would
licked him.
lick somebody, they would say every time in the mouth. Why?
Yep.
Oh, I would have said the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Lil Rel. He did a crazy good job in this movie.
Yeah, the voice cast on this movie was pretty solid. Not gonna lie. I mean, they were firing on all cylinders. I think, all the characters sounded great.
Yeah, absolutely. I was surprised also that Isla Fisher voiced Sarah.
It's her hat off.
This is Sarah Hadoff again, reporting on the incredible saga of Dogman, who has shown himself to be nothing less than a super cop.
Hat off. I didn't peg that one
The
either.
world's greatest reporter, as they put that right in front screen every time she did a news report. I don't know if you guys saw that at the very beginning. The little jokes, like the caption, like Sarah Hadoff, world's greatest reporter. Those little things are, just a little humor in there as well. So,
Yeah,
with
and
those
you already
blinking, you'll
mentioned
miss
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you already mentioned earlier, super witty, super like just quick and fast pace, and you really appreciate that kind of stuff. And so I thought it was really good. Also, Melissa Villasenor was in here as the realtor. I didn't hear that one either, and I usually can pull her out of a crowd because she has such a very kind of unique and odd voice, and she was on SNL for like 3 or 4 years, and so I totally missed that one, but I love her comedy. She's hilarious as well. I don't know if there's anything else left to say about this one. I guess we can get into our Geekcast rating here, which 1 to 5 scale. 1 being worst movie you've ever seen, 5 being best movie ever. Let's go around here, JC. What do you rank Dogman movie?
I give it a 4. It was fun. If you're a fan of the source material, it's really good. My wife actually gave it a 4.5. She gives it that extra half point because of Lil PD. That was she thought was her favorite character. And then of course both my kids gave it a 5. And you'll hear all their thoughts when our family review gets posted on this page. But yeah, I give it a 4. It was a lot of fun. Good time. Good way to keep the kids occupied for a good 90 minutes. And no extra scenes to worry about after the credits roll either. So yeah, give it a 4 for me.
Missed opportunity. Missed opportunity,
Yeah.
I'd say.
What books are we doing
Uh,
next? Come on, we waited around for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kenobi?
Yeah, I think I'm actually right around there too. I was gonna cheat and do like a 3.5, but if I have to, round it, I would go up. I would go up to a 4. There were a couple of things that surprised me, like you said. There's some interesting, lessons, right? Thought in the movie. This is a spoiler review, by the way, so I'll just flat out say it. Uh, Pete's dad, Petey's, granddad, I
Uh,
guess, still bailing out on them. Even my kid was like, "Huh, I thought that was gonna go right." Like seriously, like again, kids movie, so I was expecting, okay, we got the big reunion. He's gonna have his change of heart eventually. He might even come in clutch, right, with the last save of the day against the reanimated psychokinetic fish. I forget his name. Um, no, dude just grabs a U-Haul and steals everything from the lab and just bails again. Um, but like I was thinking, and my kid was like, "What do you think that was?" I was like, "Well, they kind of do say it in the movie, like he goes, some people just don't change, right? They don't want to change."
yep.
And I was like, you know what? I kind of respect that choice. I kind of respect leaving that in the movie. That as more and the kid and I were talking about it, like I said afterwards, the more and more we kept talking about it, I was like, you know what? It's actually an important lesson, to put out there. It's like, hey man, I'm sorry, but not everybody, is gonna have a nice change of heart, right? To what you think it would be best. So um I actually, that elevated the movie for me. So I'm gonna go with a 4 as well. The kid loved it too. He actually really liked the animation style. He said it reminded him of the actual comic
Mhm.
book. So I was like, well, that's what you want, right? Like you want to be able to relate the visuals, to the source material. So in my book, for that.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And I think I'm going to just go slightly higher, 4.5. I could not find a ton, wrong with this, and I had kind of low expectations going in. There's another movie that came out recently that kind of also did the same thing. It wasn't Moana 2, even though that was a little bit of a letdown. There's something that happened before that came out
Oof.
Yeah.
that was animated that didn't really hit the mark either, and I forget what it is. But this one surprised me, and it exceeded my expectations.
Yep.
And Jose mentioned, they tried some good lessons in there, and I
Yeah.
agree with that. Very surprising that they went and did that. So some good lessons to take away. Some really good jokes. I know we were laughing when
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Big P told Little Petey, like, "Do you have any idea what that feels like when your dad ditches you?" And he goes,
Just this just he's like,
"Yeah."
yeah.
Yeah. It just happened like 2 minutes ago, Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, oh my god. I was like, it was right there. It was
Yeah.
obvious. And I still didn't see it coming. I'm like, dude, come on. Like it still hit, I was like, man.
And he says
I
it
don't
all
know.
nonchalant too, like, yeah. Oh.
Exactly. Yeah. Uh yeah, I know the like you said, pretty weird stuff in there. Pretty good overall. Um but yeah, so you brought up Moana. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but so we all went to see Moana in theaters, and Moana
Mhm.
2 being clear here. Um and then so when we walked out of Dogman, I was at wife, right? Because my wife doesn't really go for this like happy stuff, because that's just the way she is. Uh,
Yeah.
she doesn't um how do you like to be happy, So, and so I was like, all right, so what you think of the movie? And she's like, you know what? It's kind of the same thing we said, right? It wasn't his fin there. He's like, and she's like, but miles better than Moana 2. She's like, way, way better. Like Moana 2 was just not great. And I was like, you know what? When we measure with that stick, then yes, this movie is like super, super good. So yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because about that other movie. Um, but yeah, I guess maybe, but pretty good, pretty good.
Mhm.
And then Flippy, who plays the antagonist in the final act,
Mhm.
I was so sure. I was like, you know what? That's probably not Ricky Gervais, but that's a guy that sounds a lot like Ricky Gervais. I was like, there's no way they got Ricky Gervais for this movie, but
Mhm.
that guy sounds a lot like Ricky Gervais.
Okay then, let's destroy all do-gooders.
I I don't know why, but he
I
did,
think
and
he
he did a
voiced.
great job.
I think he voiced the character in the Captain Underpants movies too. Because my daughter, like, she was sitting next to me, is like, that guy sounds like one of the characters from Captain Underpants. I'm not sure who he voiced, but
Nice.
she recognized it. So yeah, that's. I was like, okay, yeah, it's Ricky Gervais. So
And then I'm so surprised about this cast. The mayor was voiced by my favorite female SNL cast member of all time, Sherry
Harry
O'Terry.
O'Terry. Mhm.
I did not, and I just watched a movie with her in it a few months ago, and I was like, oh my god, Sherry still has it. She's so funny.
Mhm.
And I did not know she voices characters. So whoever is doing this casting choice did an incredible job because you don't hear these people in these characters. They really fall into them seamlessly and really
Yeah.
pull something out that's very genuine and original. So shout out to the entire cast, did an incredible job, especially Pete Davidson. Did not know he had it in him. He really pulled it off, and he really did a lot of the heavy lifting. He's in like half this movie just by himself. So yeah,
Yeah.
A
crazy
lot of
good
the a lot
job.
of the vocal work because Dogma doesn't say anything either, so it just kind of works.
It's just Pete Davidson arguing with himself, pretty much.
Yeah,
Is what's
it's
happening throughout
hilarious.
this movie. All right, that's our thoughts on the Dogman movie. We want to hear from you guys. Let us know what you thought about it. Drop your thoughts and your own Geekcast rating in the comments below, and catch it when it drops in theaters coming up this weekend. And also, like I mentioned before, if you want to be a part of these advanced screenings and join us on the next one, be sure to follow and turn on your notification button, or you can also join the Facebook direct channel. Again, I don't know what it's called, but if you go to our Facebook page and click on channels, we have a hotline. I call it the hotline. It's a Geekcast hotline where we give you all the new updates on contests and advanced screenings. Be the first to know when something drops. And that's how you can do that. The Countdown City Geeks. My name is Ted, aka Steady. Joining me on this Dogman movie review is the man, the myth, the legend, JC.
Thanks for watching. Go enjoy the movie. Have fun.
And from General Kenobi's bunker, Jose.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Go check out Dogman in theaters this weekend. It's definitely worth the watch. It's very cool.
Thanks for watching. Have a good night. See you next time. Peace.
Serialously?